CNBC had a profile of the streaming service Roku on Friday, talking about how it beat bigger players to rule streaming video. That profile caught our eye because Roku happened to be one of our top 10 names on Friday. It wasn't the first time Roku's been in our top names. Last summer, on July 16th, Roku was one of our top 10 names, and it was the third best performer over the next 6 months. It was up 166% as of January 16th. So now it's on our top 10 again, but there's a possibility we'll be wrong this time. Last time, if you invested in Roku based on it being in our top 10, you more than doubled your money. That may not happen this time. So let's look at how we can invest in Roku and limit our downside risk in the event that we're wrong about it. So the first thing we do is we type in the symbol for Roku, which is just its name, ROKU, and we type in a number of shares. I'll type in 100 here. And then for threshold, considering the performance the stock has had, we'll be a little aggressive here. I mean, you can use your own judgment. The question you're answering here is the maximum decline you're willing to risk. So for this example, we'll use a larger than average or larger than typical decline threshold for our purposes. We'll enter 25%, but you can enter whatever you like. And then we'll stick with our default time frame to expiration for starters, and we tap Find Optimal Hedge. And here we're presented with the put option to protect against a greater than 25% decline in Roku by January 21st. Here the cost was $3,080, or 8.36% of position value. That annualized to 14.19% of position value. Now, that cost was calculated conservatively using the ask price of the puts, and as we've mentioned before, you can often buy and sell options at some price between the bid and ask. So in reality, your cost would have been slightly less than this on Friday. But let's look at a couple of ways we can lower that cost further. One thing we can do is try a different time frame to expiration. So here I'll try October 15th. If we do that, two things happen here. Well, three things really. The initial cost goes down in dollar terms. Now it's $1,275. The cost as a percentage of position value goes down 3.46%. So far, that's to be expected because we're paying for a shorter time frame of protection out to mid-October versus out to late January. The interesting thing here, though, is the annualized cost has gone down too. It's gone down to 10.8%. And just to remember what it was going out to January, it was 14.19. So lower cost across the board. Let's see if we can lower it further by indicating that we're willing to cap our possible upside. So if we're willing to cap our possible upside, we may be able to lower the cost of hedging further by opening an optimal collar on it. So let's try 35% as a cap. We keep tapping, find optimal hedge, and this time we're presented with an optimal collar. And let's see what the cost of it is. Cost here goes down to $65, or 0.18% of position value. Let's see how much lower we need to go to wipe out that cost entirely. We've got it down to $5 here with a 34% cap. We'll try a 33% cap. Still 5. 32. And here, now we have a negative cost. So if you were to open up this collar on Friday, capping Roku at 32% and hedging against a 25% decline by October, your net cost is negative $55, which means that when opening this hedge, you would collect a net credit of $55, assuming, again to be conservative, that you placed both trades at the worst ends of their respective spreads. You bought the puts at the ask and you sold the calls at the bid. So in reality, your net credit would likely have been larger. So these are a couple things you can look at if you want to buy Roku now, but you want to limit your downside risk in the event it doesn't do as well this time as it did last time it was on our top names.